For today's headlines, alert system now nationwide. Palace brushes off corruption markdown. Leyte grenade blast injures 8. 45 billion pesos more for booster shots guaranteed. MMDA assures public safety. NCR exceeds vax targets. Yorme vows to defend West Philippine Sea. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is November 12, 2021, and these are the latest news this Friday morning. President Rodrigo Duterte has approved the nationwide implementation of the COVID-19 alert level system first rolled out in Metro Manila, ending the 2-year imposition of community quarantine classifications. Duterte on Thursday issued Executive Order 151, which greenlights the enforcement of the new lockdown scheme that was introduced 2 months ago. The scheme, Duterte added, will protect public health through the continuous observance of COVID-19 protocols and interventions and the heightened implementation of restrictions in smaller areas, also known as granular lockdowns. According to the executive order, the alert level system will be implemented in 4 phases. The first phase will cover Metro Manila, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Central Visayas, and Davao region, while the second phase will expand to Ilocos, Eastern Visayas, and Northern Mindanao. Alert levels will then be hoisted over Cagayan, Bicol, and Zamboanga Peninsula in the third phase, as well as the Cordillera Administrative Region, Mimaropa, Caraga, and the Bangsamoro region in the fourth phase. The first phase is ongoing, while the second phase may begin anytime, not later than the end of November, as determined by the Interagency Task Force on the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. Duterte said the succeeding phases will then begin every week thereafter until the alert level system is fully implemented nationwide. The 5-degree alert level system, which was first implemented in Metro Manila last September, determines the activities and business operations allowed in specific cities or provinces, with level 5 being the strictest. Malacanang is not bothered that an American aid agency gave the Philippines a failing mark in its anti-corruption drive. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque played down the red mark given by the United States Millennium Challenge Corp, or MCC, on the country's initiatives against corruption. The palace official, however, insisted that the administration is serious in its anti-corruption drive, noting that the initiatives for a clean government remain a priority under President Rodrigo Duterte's leadership. The failing mark received by the government from the MCC in terms of eradicating corruption led to the country's disqualification from grants that will be extended by the agency to poor countries next year. Countries to be eligible to receive 5-year funding must pass at least 10 of 20 indicators. These include categories that the aid agency considers hard hurdles for eligibility, including indicators on political rights, civil liberties, and campaigns against corruption. Apart from the anti-corruption requirement, the Philippines also received failing marks on credit and business startup, rule of law, freedom of information, health expenditures, primary education expenditures, and immunization rates. An independent U.S. agency established in 2004, the MCC is working to reduce global poverty by providing time-limited grants and assistance to poor countries that meet standards for good governance, fighting corruption, and protecting democratic rights. The Eastern Visayas Regional Police disclosed on Thursday that 8 children were injured when the rifle grenade they were playing with exploded in Baybay City, Leyte. The 8 of whom 5 are males, 8 to 12 years old, and 3 females, 8 to 10 years of age, were brought to the Immaculada Concepcion Hospital for treatment. They are all residents of Barangay Candadam, near where the incident occurred Tuesday afternoon. Investigation indicated that one of the children found a 40mm ammunition for an M203 grenade launcher at an abandoned videoke house. That child, identified only by the alias John, played with the cartridge along with the other by throwing at it until the object exploded, the police said. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders.
Boto mo to Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama. Magandang araw mga katribu! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelevelo, Comfy Manalo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas ng mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube. Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Boto mo to Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama.
We're back on Tribute News on Q. Vaccine Shower Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. expressed gratitude to the Senate Committee on Finance Thursday for supporting the proposal to use 45 billion pesos in unprogrammed appropriations for the procurement of COVID-19 booster shots next year. During the Senate's plenary session for the 2022 General Appropriations Bill, or GAB, for 2022, Senate Finance Committee Chair Juan Edgardo Sonny Angara emphasized that the procurement of life-saving COVID-19 vaccines remains a top priority under the law. To allay fears that placing it in the unprogrammed appropriation would place uncertainty as to its release, there are provisions in the budget which ensure that even the funds in the unprogrammed appropriations will be released, Angara said, and there is also a special provision which states that funds for vaccines shall be given utmost priority. In the current Senate version of the 2022 GAB sponsored by Angara, 61 billion pesos has been allocated for vaccine procurement, including the 45 billion pesos in unprogrammed funds and 16.245 billion pesos in unprogrammed appropriations under the Department of Health. Galvez lauded the senator for prioritizing the procurement of the vaccines, as well as supporting the national government's overall pandemic response and mitigation efforts. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority has assured safer and seamless travel for commuters at the EDSA busway, a 24-kilometer highway that is starting to see an increase in the number of commuters following the restriction downgrade to Alert Level 2. Agency Chairperson Benhur Abalos stated this as he inaugurated yesterday a footbridge at the EDSA southbound to provide pedestrians safe access to and from the new loading and unloading bay for the bus carousel in the area. The MMDA chief said the footbridge would help ease traffic in the area. Buendia is one of the busiest intersections in terms of pedestrian traffic, and having this overpass for them to use will make their trips easy, secure, and safe, he said. The pedestrian footbridge will be connected to the existing MRT pedestrian overpass, crossing EDSA southbound, which will serve those from the Makati Central Business District and vice versa, as well as commuters coming from Bonifacio Global City. It can be accessed from Makati Avenue or the southbound exit of the MRT Buendia station. The National Capital Region has inoculated 100.2.86% of its target population with at least one dose, the National Task Force Against COVID-19 disclosed on Thursday. A total of 9,841,704 individuals have received partial protection against COVID-19 in Metro Manila, the group said. It surpassed the target number of vaccinees, or 70% of the region's population. Meanwhile, Metro Manila still has the highest vaccination coverage with more than 8.8 million fully vaccinated individuals. It is equivalent to 90.75% of the target population in the region. The government was aiming to vaccinate 9,776,356 individuals in NCR, the former epicenter of the country's coronavirus outbreak. Among the regions in the Philippines, Metro Manila has received the biggest deliveries of COVID-19 jabs with over 20.23 million vaccine doses deployed to local government units as of November 8. Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez Jr. praised the local chief executives in Metro Manila for not only reaching the vaccination target but also for inoculating more people. He expressed confidence that LGU in the NCR will be able to fully vaccinate the respective target populations, including children 12 to 17 years of age, by the end of this year. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Masaya, pagsama-sama.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Masaya, pagsama-sama.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. In other news, presidential aspirant and Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso on Thursday stressed that he will defend the West Philippine Sea for the sake of Filipino fishermen. During his visit to fisherfolk in the town of Subic on Thursday, Domagoso said that he will assert the Hague ruling and build the country's capacity to defend its waters in securing unimpeded access for small fisherfolk to abundant fishing grounds. The visit is part of Domagoso's listening tour in Zambales, and he added that as part of defending the West Philippine Sea, he plans to improve the Philippine Navy and Philippine Coast Guard. Regarding the country's Mutual Defense Treaty and Visiting Forces Agreement with the United States, Domagoso said that he plans to strengthen these aspects to augment the security of the country. However, he said he is not currently inclined to invite the U.S. to reinstall military bases in the Philippines. He also vowed to continue trade treaties and agreements with the country's regional neighbors, even claimants to the West Philippine Sea and economic rivals of the U.S. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Mary Kay, Araneta Center, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista on Tribune News on Q, reminding you that we only have 43 days until Christmas. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Boto mo to, Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Christmas saya, pagsama-sama.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.